There we go. Amen. Starting from the beginning. Praise the Almighty Ahai who begot Yeshua. Definitely give all honor to Ahai who begot Yeshua, the only begotten of the Father. All those that believe in him and is baptized and repents from their sins shall be saved if they continue in the faith. Welcome to True Hebrews United of the Lord Yeshua. Should be love. Holiness instructor, discipleship drill sergeant, about to get into the book. Hey, thank the Almighty, thank the sisters far away, holding the fort down in True Hebrews United Belize, because that's where we're located as well. I thank the sister Yvette up in Rancho Cucamonga standing. I know you don't have fellowship. I know it's hard to find brothers and sisters out there, but hey, you keep pressing, you keep standing. Thank all those for Facebook and YouTube tuning in. But you know what you need to do? You need to call so that you can know the way of salvation. You cannot save yourself. With all that said being done, let's let the fingers do the walking and the scriptures do the talking. James chapter 1, verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. For the wrath of man works not in the righteousness of God. First of all, it says be swift to hear. Too many times we see people want to interject, can't let someone finish a sentence, want to get their point in, don't care, or someone's talking to them and they already assume that the direction they're going with the conversation, and so they already reply and then they're way off. It says be swift to hear, slow to speak. The Bible even says a fool is considered wise when he holds his peace. Even he could just be as dumb as a brick, but if he holds his peace, you'll think he's a wise man because he just listens. And slow to wrath, for the wrath of man works not in the righteousness of God. You see how they justify Pearl Harbor. Oh, they destroyed us with Pearl Harbor, but you drop a nuclear weapon on Japan, Hiroshima. So how many innocent women and children? They attacked the military. They attacked the harbor with ships and everything in a military base. But you went ahead and just dropped the bomb and killed innocent women and children. The Bible condemns shedding innocent blood. It says he will not hold that person or that nation guiltless that sheds innocent blood. There is no casualties of war, not to that degree. So with all that said being done, it says be slow to wrath, for the wrath of man works not in the righteousness of God. So I want to get into something real quick. This is what I find too many times. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. We have to be steadfast, not to let situations get us off our steadfastness in the Almighty. I find it too many times. It'll be a little bump in the road. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. I got a situation today. Person pressing, trying to press to do the right thing, but he lets a little bump in the road and now you can't make it to service. Hey, no. Why should the Almighty save you? Why should the Almighty hear your prayers? Because you let little things in your life take you off your steadfastness. It can't do that. If little things would take a person off their steadfastness, the wicked one will send stuff every single day. That's easy to get you outside the will of the Almighty. That's easy to get you to disobey. That's easy to get you to stop reading or stop praying or stop doing what is right, what you know to be right. So Ecclesiastes chapter 7, we're going to deal with verse 9. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 9. It says, be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. So we see here, it says don't be hasty to be angry. It says anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Don't even be hasty. Because 9 times out of 10, what you do in anger is going to get you outside the will of the Almighty. There was a time in marriage when I first got married to my wife, and whenever I used to get real hot, I'd be like, I'm going for a walk. And she used to get mad while I go for a walk. I was like, I'm going for a walk. And I used to be like, hey, because I don't want to say something out of my anger and say something that I can't take back. And I used to do it for year 1, year 2, year 3. And one time I was so hot, and I knew I should have just went for a walk and prayed to the Almighty and put it in His hands. But I just dealt with it, and I let loose. And I didn't cuss or anything or put my hands on my wife or none of that foolishness. But I said some stuff, and that cuts the woman's heart. And it sticks with them, and it hurts them. And I was like, I knew I should have kept to my convictions and kept to the standards that I hold, because then it would have never happened. When you deal with things out of anger, 9 times out of 10, it's going to get you outside the will of the Almighty. Even sometimes when you deal with your children, because they do something, you want to just snatch them up, but you're like, you know what? I can't even, I'm so hot right now, I can't even deal with you right now. It wouldn't even be edifying right now. Go ahead and chill in your room. to where I could get calm down. Then I could come and I could deal with you and discipline you and talk to you and encourage you and not provoke you to wrath and deal with you according to discipline and not according to my anger. And it says, hey, don't be hasty to be angry. So let's keep going. Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 4. Now let's go to Nahum. And then we're going to jump to Ephesians. Nahum. Amen. Nahum chapter 1. And we're going to start at verse 6. Nahum chapter 1 verse 6. Who could stand before his indignation? Who could abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. So it says, who could stand when the Almighty gets angry? Can nothing stand. Mountains, seas, people, the whole universe can't even stand. When he gets, it says he's slow to anger. This is why it says be slow to wrath. He's slow to anger. But when he does get angry, after he dealt with his people time and time and year after year after year, when he finally says, you know what, enough is enough, I'm passing judgment. In the days of Noah, when he says enough is enough, I'm passing judgment. Sodom and Gomorrah, passing judgment. And it says, just like the days of Noah shall be the coming of the Son of Man. For one day he will pass judgment, and no one's going to be able to stand except the righteous. So we understand that even the Almighty gets angry. So there's nothing wrong with being angry. It's how you discipline yourself when you're dealing with anger. So let's go to Ephesians chapter 4 now. Ephesians chapter 4. We're going to verse 26. Ephesians 4:26. It says, be ye angry, and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. So it says we could be angry, because even the Almighty gets angry, and he made us in his image. But it says don't sin with it. No matter what people do, and of course you're going to get hot, but don't sin. Don't get outside the will of the Almighty. And that's the problem we see time and time and again. Because you have people that aren't even serving. They're not spiritual. They're not even serving the Almighty. They could be your co-workers. It could be your wife, your husband. It could be your children, your mom, your dad. They're carnally minded. And because they do carnal stuff, whether steal or lie or disrespect or cuss at you or yell at you or whatever they decide to do, spend your money or misspend money, whatever the case may be, they do things, and now it's going to get you outside the will of the Almighty. And that's not where you want to be. It's like, you know what? I'm hot, but I'm not, just because you cussed at me, I'm not going to cuss you out. Just because you did this to me, I'm not going to say something rude or say something nasty because you want to send me a nasty text message, so I'm going to send you a nasty text message back. And even if your text message is true because you delivered it, you gave her the truth with the intent to hurt someone. It's like, nah, I'm not going to sink down to your level. Like they say, hey, don't sink down to their level. Just because you hit me, as a kid, someone hits me, you naturally hit them back. And this is true when it deals with self-defense. But as a kid, they don't even understand that because they hit me and then they want to go and render more than what was dealt to them. That's why it says, hey, the wrath of man works not in the righteousness of the Almighty. So we have to learn that whether you're dealing with your wife, your husband, a friend, a co-worker on the job, when they do things against you, don't let them get you outside. I had to tell even when I was young in my marriage, I was like, you know what? I'm hot right now, but no longer am I going to let you get me outside the will of the Almighty. I'm not going to, if you want to be outside the will of the Almighty, then that's fine. But I'm not going to go outside the will of the Almighty just because you're carnally minded. You know, and this was young or married. I love my wife, and she's a powerful sister in the Almighty. Keep standing. But we have to get to that point because I'm not going to let these people, these sinners, they could be brothers in the Lord. Not all of them are sinners. They just don't, they do stuff purposely or not on purpose. But for the most part, we can't let these sinners take our salvation away. Because if they get you to just stop coming to service or get you to fall into fornication or get you to be angry and start cussing, get you to stress you, they stress you out to where you got to go run and smoke a cigarette, got to run and pick up a beer. Whatever these sinners do, they get you angry, and now you know what? Now you're off your steadfastness. Now both of you guys are sinners. Instead of they just a sinner and you just pray for them and you just move on and love them from a distance, now both of you outside the will of the Almighty. Now if judgment came or the Almighty required your soul that day, now you outside. Now you rise before the Almighty with some dirty garments. And I'll teach on that later on. So let's keep going. It says, be angry and sin not. It says, don't give no place to the wicked one. Because he'll use these sinners to come in and get you off your steadfastness. Because they're already carnally minded. So whether he puts a thought, whether whatever he does, he uses these sinner man to say something rude or whatever. And next thing you know, you retaliate back. Because you automatically, anyone who has self-respect is like, I'm not a doormat. I'm not going to let you just mistreat me. So you start cussing back. Or you start doing this back. Or you start saying nasty stuff back. And now, bam, you're outside the will of the Almighty. Now, when you try to go and pray, Almighty, can you hear my prayer? Almighty, look what he's doing. He's like, no, you handle it. It says, hey, render not evil for evil. It says the Almighty, he'll judge. The Almighty will fight for you. In these times where people try to come against you, hey, you know what? I'm going to take it in prayer. I'm going to just take it in prayer. And I believe the Almighty's going to fight my cause. And the Almighty's going to deliver me. Because we've seen this word time and time again. Every single time when there was a situation that came. And it was impossible with their own abilities for them to get themselves out. Whether they were besieged. Whether the enemy came into the land. Whether they were starving. The Almighty made a way. He made a way. And so let the Almighty fight your battles. And you not fight your battles. Because I guarantee he could punch a little bit harder than you. And I guarantee you he could deal with a man's heart a little bit better than you. And your mouthpiece will not outweigh the Almighty's mouthpiece. So when he speaks, stuff happens. You could try to fight your way with your mouthpiece, with your wife, or with whoever, or do things. But hey, if the Almighty fights your cause, way better job. So let me give you some examples why we got to be angry and not sin, and sin not, or be not hasty to be angry. I'm going to show you some examples. Let's do it. Genesis 4. We're going to start at verse 1. Genesis 4, verse 1. Genesis 4, verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare a brother, his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was the tiller of the ground. And in the process of time that it came to pass that Cain brought forth the fruit of the ground and offered unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his cutting fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And he said, why is thy cutting fallen? So because the Almighty had respect for Abel's, because it, was a sheep, and didn't have respect for Cain's, Cain was angry. He was like, man, what is this? Why is it that the Almighty receives his stuff, and I'm offering, in his mind, he's doing the right thing. I'm offering something onto the Almighty. I'm trying to serve the Almighty. So he was mad. Verse 6. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? Why are you angry? And why is that cutting fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? Do what your brother did. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. It says, hey, if you do it right, your brother's going to admire. That's your little brother. He's going to serve you. Just do right. But if you do it wrong, hey, sin lieth at the door. Sin lieth at the door. Because the Bible says, be angry and sin not. Hey, fix your attitude. Fix your countenance. Let's keep going. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not, am I my brother's keeper? So he lied to the Almighty. He murdered, then he lied. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which thou hast opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. So he got cursed. But he got warned, hey, sin lieth at the door. And as you see this service, anyone that's watching this service, hey, you're being warned today. Be angry and sin not. Don't let these sinners get you off your steadfastness. No, I can't let it happen. Some stuff happened today, but I don't be letting this stuff move me, man. I'm still going to press. I'm still going to pray. I'm still going to read. I'm still going to put the Almighty first. I'm not going to let this stuff move me. I'm not going to let this stuff move me, especially when it comes to no sinner. No, I'm not going to let no sinner try to move me off of what I need to do. It's the Sabbath. Hey, I need to teach this gospel. I need to get this gospel out, because there's someone that I may not even know will watch this service. And it's going to be the same service that's going to help them in their situation with their wife or with their kid, with their mom, with their dad. It's going to be that person that I've never met, but it'll be the same scripture I use and say, you know what? He's right. I can't be letting these wicked sinners get me off. Every time I get upset, I've been trying to not work on cussing and I've been doing good, but I get around these sinners, I start cussing again. Or once a sinner wife makes me angry, I start cussing again. It's like, nah, I can't let them get me outside the will. Don't let them take your salvation away. You're on the way of being a child of light, or you're a child of light, and don't let these wicked people, children of darkness, get you out of the way, make you veer to the right or to the left. And how I say sinners, you know what? I'm not prejudiced. I don't hate nationalities. I don't despise it. I'm not even a supremacist that think the Hebrews, even though we're the Almighty's chosen people, but I don't have this chip on my shoulder. Hey, I'm just happen to be born a Hebrew. Praise the Almighty. So, but I do look at sinners in a different outlook, because when you have the commandments and when you have the Spirit, and when these commandments get off these pages and get into your heart, then you conduct yourself a better way. And you conduct yourself. There's things that you will do that sinners will not do. And there's some decent sinners out there. They don't steal, they don't lie, they don't cheat on their wife, they don't, there's some decent sinners. But when it all said and done, they still do things contrary to the book. Because this is righteous judgments. These laws and these prophets and the commandments we're given is we clean out the heart. And there's only so much a sinner could clean. There's only so many morals. This is the purest morals you could get, is the law and the prophets. You can't get any purer than that. It says it's holy, just, and good. So let's keep going. Samuel. I'm going to read kind of quick. 1 Samuel 25. 1 Samuel 25. Praise the Almighty. I'm going to read fast. Let's get it. And Samuel died, and all the Israelites were gathered on together, and lamented him, and buried him in the house of Ramah. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran, and there was a man of Ammon, whose possessions were of Carmel, and the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and shearing of his sheep in Carmel. And the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was the house of Caleb. And David heard of the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. And David sent 10 young men, and David said unto the young man, Get you up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. And thus shall you say unto him that liveth in prosperity, Peace be both to thee, and peace be of thy house, and peace be unto all that thou hast. And now I have heard that thou art shearers, and now thy sheep and shepherds which were with us, we hurt them not, neither was there any aught missing of them, all while they were in Carmel. And ask the young man that they will shew thee. Wherefore let the young man find favor in thy sight. For we come into a good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh into thy hand, unto thy servant, and to thy son David. And when David's young man came and spake to Nabal according to all these words in the name of David, and ceased. So David, I'll alliterate in a little bit. Let me read a little bit more. And Nabal answered and said to David's servants, and said, Who is David, and who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be? So David's young man turned their way and went again, and came and told him all these things. And David said unto his man, Gird up every man his sword, and girded on every man his sword. And David also girded up his sword, and there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, and he railed on them. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt, neither missed anything, that as long as we were conversing with them that were in the fields. They were all a wall unto us both by night and day, and all the while we were with them keeping the sheep. Now therefore know and consider what thou wilt do, for evil is determined against our master and against all his household, for he is such as the son of Belial, that a man cannot speak unto him. So earlier, David's Nabal's servants, and his sheep were in the field of Carmel. And during that time, David was protecting them. Hey, they didn't take any of their stuff. They protected, as long as they were cool and they had conversing, they talked, and they were cordial. David protected them. So now David sees that, hey, he's shearing his sheep. Hey, you know what? Hey, bless us, because remember when I protected you guys? And he railed them. He sent them away. So David's like, hey, everyone get your sword. We're going to ride up on these people. So let's keep going. Break it down because I was reading a little bit fast. Okay, so now, verse 18, then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes and figs, and laid them on donkeys. And she said unto her servants, go on before me, behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband Nabal. And it was so, as she rode on the donkey, and she came down by the covert of the hill, and behold, David his man came down against her, and she met them. Now David had said, surely in vain have I kept all that this fellow hath in the wilderness, so that nothing was missing of all that pertaineth unto him, and he hath requited me evil for good. So, and more also God unto the enemies of David, if thou leave all that pertaineth unto him by the morning light, any that pisses against the wall. And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off her donkey, and fell before David on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said unto me, my Lord, upon me let the iniquity be, and let thy handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thy oddness, and hear the words of thy handmaid. Let not my Lord, I pray thee, regard this male of Belial, even so Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I thy handmaid saw not the young man of my Lord whom thou didst send. Now therefore, my Lord, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, seeing the Lord have withholden thee from coming to shed blood. So it says the Almighty is withholding you from coming to shed blood. Check this out. And from avenging thyself with thy own hand. Now let thy enemies and they that seek evil to my Lord be as Nabal. So it says, hey, whoa. Hey, the Almighty is withholding you. Hey, don't render evil for evil. I know you're hot in what he did, but hey, let your enemies be as Nabal. Let's keep going. And now this blessing which thy handmaid have brought unto my Lord, let it even be given unto young men that follow my Lord. I pray thee, forgive the trespass of thy handmaid, for the Lord will certainly make my Lord a sure house, because my father fighteth the battles of the Lord, and evil have not been found in thee all thy days. Yet a man is risen to pursue thee and to seek thy soul, but the soul of my Lord shall be bound in a bundle of life with the Lord thy God, and thy souls of thy enemies, them shall be slinged out of the middle of a sling. And it shall come to pass, when the Lord shall have done all my Lord according to all good that he hath spoken concerning thee, and shall appoint thee ruler over thee, that this shall be no grief unto thee, nor offense of the heart of my Lord, either that thou hast shed blood causeless, and that my Lord have avenged himself. But when the Lord shall have dealt well with my Lord, then remember thy handmaid. It says, hey, when the Almighty crushes all thy enemies and crushes them about, hey, don't forget me. It says, don't forget me. Let's keep going. And David said to Abigail, look what David said. Blessed be the Lord thy God, Israel, who sent thee this day to meet me. And blessed be thy advice, and blessed be thou, which thou hast kept me this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with my own hands. For in very deed, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, which have kept me back from hurting thee, except thou hast hated to come to meet me, surely there have been left unto thou by the morning light any that peeth against the wall. So David received of her hand that which she had brought him, and said unto her, go up in peace to thy house, and I have hearkened unto thy voice, and I have accepted thy persons. So we see here that he says, hey, the Almighty stopped me. I was hot, but the Almighty stopped me from shedding blood myself, causelessly, for me avenging myself. And I need to let the Almighty fight my battles. And that's what I'm saying today when it says, hey, be angry and sin not. David was hot. It's like, man, I put all this time and energy, and I'm protecting my people, Israel. I protect all his sheep. And then when I come back and he just rails me away and he renders me evil for the good, okay, then I'm going to render you evil back. But the Almighty said, nah, don't even worry about it. I'm going to fight that battle. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. So David, verse 36, and Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast at his house like the feast of a king. Nabal's heart was very merry within him, and he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing less or more until the morning light. But when it came to pass one morning, when one was gone out of Nabal, and his wife had told him these things, that his heart died within him, and he became a stone. And it came to pass about 10 days later, that the Lord smote Nabal that he died. The Almighty took care of him. And let's see what happened. And when David heard that Nabal had died, he said, Blessed be the Lord that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and have kept his servant from evil. For the Lord hath returned the wickedness of Nabal unto his own head. And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to wife. So it's like, after his death, he's like, hey, be my wife. Let's see what she said. And when the servants of David were coming to Abigail to Carmel, they spake unto her, saying, David sent unto us to take thee to him to wife. And she arose and bowed herself unto the face to the earth, and said, Behold, let thy handmaid be as a servant to wash the feet of my servants of my Lord. And Abigail hasted and arose and rode upon an donkey with 5 damsels of hers, and went after her. And she went after the messengers of David, and became his wife. And David took Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they were also both of them his wives. So the Almighty, not only the Almighty fought his battle, the Almighty took this man out and said, here you go. You like her, David? Go ahead. You can have her. She's all yours. So let's keep going. It shows that when situations come, we need to let the Almighty fight the battles. So many times people get depressed, and they get frustrated, and they get stressed out, simply because you don't take it to prayer. Simply because you don't say, you know what, I'm going through all this stuff, I'm stressed out, I need a cigarette, or I'm stressed out, I can't go to church, or I'm stressed out, I can't do this. But you don't take it to prayer. You don't put it on the Almighty's hands. And you're trying to bear this burden, this heavy burden, way down, depressed, because seeing you go to work, oh, everything okay? Yeah. You say that little, yeah, and people know it's terrible at your house, or whatever's going on is weighing you down. You depressed. You just want to stay in your bed all day. Don't want to get out. Keep the blinds shut. Just want to be depressed. Playing your sad songs, which creates you to be depressed even longer. And you just boggle yourself down. Or you're financially strapped. And you're broke. And you don't, man, how am I going to pay all these bills? And so you're stressing. You're trying to figure out, maybe if I can do some overtime, or maybe I can go collect some cans, or you're stressed out and you're thinking, man, I'm broke. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. And it's always on your mind. But take it to the Almighty in prayer. Take it to the Almighty in prayer. And that's what happens is the Almighty will fight your battles. And I know we're dealing with anger, but whether you're depressed, is getting you off your steadfastness. Whether you're frustrated because of a situation, maybe someone on the job, you're trying to pray for them, and then every day or every other day, this person on the job is still sinning against you. All the time I have to say some smart remark, or come to find out they're trying to do things to try to get you fired. And it's bogging you down, but don't let these people get you off your steadfastness. Be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. And sometimes the best thing to do with sinners, just pray for these sinners. Hey, Almighty, I pray that the gospel comes to them, that they might be saved. And I'm like, and reward these sinners according to their works, because when sinners come against me, I'm like, Almighty, reward them according to their works. If their works be righteous, hey, reward them sevenfold. Sevenfold. If their works be wickedness, hey, reward them according to their works. But I pray the gospel could shine in their hearts. I pray the best thing for sinners is that the gospel shine in their hearts, because they're without understanding. They could have a higher IQ. They could have a better pay. They could have better understanding of how business works. It don't matter. It says the beginning of the fear of the Almighty is the beginning of wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. So there ain't no way no sinner on this planet is smarter than me, or wiser than me, or has more understanding than me. It's impossible, because the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And to depart from evil is understanding. So if they're not departing from evil, they are not smarter than me. I don't care what their IQ says. If they're so smart, why are they going to the lake of fire? If they have so much wisdom and so much understanding, why are they going to hell? Exactly. Because they're too smart for their own good. I'm just dumb enough to obey everything in this book, and believe this book, and obey in this book, and live holy and just and righteous. I'm not too smart for my own good. You know those kids that are like, man, they just too smart for their own good. Exactly. That's how all these people are in this world. Oh, no, the Bible, it's just for weak-minded people that need to believe in something. And, oh, no, I just believe in a higher power. And, with all this stuff, I don't know what to believe in. If I can't see it, hear it, or touch it. They have all these excuses when they want to rationalize. And the bottom line, you just don't want to submit. Because if there's a higher power, then he designed everything in order. Man with a female creates a kid. There's an order. You plant a seed, it grows. There's an order. And that means you need to submit to the order of the Almighty. So instead of saying, you know what, no, I don't know, it's not for me. Bottom line is half the people do believe in the Bible, but they just don't want to stop sinning. They just don't want to stop sinning. They know that if there's a higher power, or if there's an Almighty God, then I need to submit to His ways. Then He has an order and He has guidelines for how I need to conduct myself. And I want to live lawless. And this is a book of laws. And it's like, no, it don't work that way. Get ready to burn in the lake of fire. But let's keep going. I'll show you another example. Let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus 17. Exodus 17. Praise the Almighty. We're going to deal with verse 1. Exodus 17, verse 1. Let's get it. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched at rid of him. And there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses. They argued with Moses and said, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide ye with me? Wherefore do you tempt the Lord? Why you coming against the man of the Almighty? Why you arguing with me? You tempting the Almighty. He led you out here, and why are you complaining? And the people thirsted therefore for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, wherefore is it that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? Disobedient. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, what shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. And the Lord said unto Moses, go before the people, and take with thee the elders and thy rod, wherefore thou smotest the rivers, and take it in thy hand. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock. Smite the rock, right? There shall come water out of it, and the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. So the Almighty, used Moses, and he hit the rock, and water came out. And this is how he was able to give the people water for their thirst. So let's go to Numbers 20. And we're going to start at verse 1. Numbers 20, verse 1. Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, unto the desert of Zin in the first month. And the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and Aaron. So they did it again.